Hello, everybody. This is Jeremy Estes, and you are on the Creating a Segmentation Funnel That Converts webinar. We're going to be walking you through how to use some of the features inside of Bucket today. So we're going to kick these off pretty quickly here. Just real quick, if you could, in the chat, let me know if you can hear my voice and see my screen, please. Just jump over into chat and just say something like, I hear you and see you. Awesome, awesome. Thank you, Lee. Thank you, Ronald. Thank you, Elizabeth. Oh, Darren, no screen. Oh, okay. Here, let me see here. Oh, I guess it would probably help if I clicked the show screen button. How about now? Awesome. All right, good. Well, I'm a little rusty on the GoToWebinar. Hopefully you guys will bear with. So yeah, like I said, today the webinar we're going to be doing is we're just going to go through and we're going to create a segmentation funnel. I'm going to show you a bunch of cool features in Bucket that you may not have seen already, and we're going to show you how to build one of these suckers that converts well, so that you can drive some leads and sales to your business. How does that sound? Can I get an amen? There you go. Kelly's on the same page. Awesome. All right, cool guys. So I will be very respectful for your time. It's about 3 o'clock. I plan to be done by or before 4 o'clock. What we're going to do though, just so you know, if you've never been on one of these webinars before, I'm going to go through, actually use Bucket in front of you so you can see how the things work, where they're at and all that. You can definitely ask questions in the chat. I am very fortunate today. I have two of our very best support analysts on the line with us, and they will be kind of watching the chat. If you have questions, they will definitely make sure those questions get answered. And then what I'll do as we kind of go through, if I see something or a series of questions that looks like everyone's having, I'll stop, kind of get those questions out of the way, and then we'll do like a Q&A there towards the end of the call. Just to make sure we get off this call together with everybody having their questions answered. All right. So just real quick, I'll tell you who I am. My name again is Jeremy Estes, and I have been working with Bucket for over a year. So pretty much once it was launched, I was here. I've got my own funnels running. I've helped people launch and advertise their segmentation funnels, and just kind of the guy who goes in and uses the heck out of this software so that I can show you how to do the same so you can get up and running super fast. What I'm going to do is at the end of this call, I'm going to put a link in chat so that if you need it, if you want the help, you can actually schedule a one-on-one call with someone like me or myself. We've got Bucket specialists here that, like me, are out there running funnels, helping people with theirs, and we will do a one-on-one call with you to help you, get over whatever hump you might be dealing with in Bucket. So the overall goal here is, if you can't tell already, is to get you using this thing, get those leads coming in, and making you love Bucket forever and ever. All right. So the objective of this specific webinar, like I said, you're going to watch me pretty much create a funnel from scratch. We're going to walk through the templates. I'm going to show you how to find them, what they do, how to use one, get it actually a template installed into your account, how to go through and customize it. I'll show you some cool little tricks, some things that I've learned along the way that really do help with conversions, and then I'll show you how to use the analytics portion of Bucket to drive your own conversions, right? Because I could show you all the tricks and tips, but if you're not sure which ones to apply, when to use it in your own funnels, well, it really doesn't help much. So I'm going to show you exactly how to read the numbers, where the numbers are that you can read, and then, like I said, by the end of this thing, you should be pretty much up to speed on how to go and put together at least a super simple funnel that starts converting pretty quickly. Does that sound like what everyone is here for? Okay, looks like Roxanne lost some audio. Is everybody, before I keep talking, is everybody good on audio? Yes, from Luann? Yep. Okay, cool. Okay, awesome. All right. Well, I'll try to keep an eye on this thing. I may or may not have the world's worst laptop. It's not the worst, but you guys know how it is. All right. So first thing is first, what I want to talk about is our templates. This feature, we launched it, I think it was November. Um, and so one of the things that I like to discuss with people is why would you use a template? Why not just go create something from scratch? Well, the first thing I would tell most people is that number one, we've built a lot of segmentation funnels at Bucket. Even before Bucket, you guys might be familiar with Ryan Levesque. He's kind of like the godfather of the ask method, or the founder of the ask method. So segmentation funnels are that man's game. And so we've got the experience of not just him building them himself, but spreading his methodology and all the different funnels out there. We basically know what works, right? And so what we've done is we've created a series of templates so that you don't have to start with an empty slate. If, let's say, for instance, you've never run a segmentation funnel before, where do you start? Well, instead of having to guess, you can choose from a few templates. And what we've also done is really kind of cut through most of the noise and only put in the types of questions and the types of responses most high performing segmentation funnels have. We've got those in there already. So that basically all you've got to do is fill in a few blanks and you've at least got something to start testing with. And again, like I said before, I'll show you how to look at the numbers so you know what to add on your own and really customize these things out for your own business. So that's kind of why I tell everyone that's just getting started with Bucket, hey, look, unless you already know exactly what your funnel is going to look like and you just need to get in there and whip it up, always start with a funnel first and then get super creative after you've kind of run some numbers through it. So why don't we do this? Let's go through and I'll show you, first of all, how to access the templates. Um, this is my Bucket account. Yours is probably a little bit different because your numbers, if you're just getting started with Bucket, are probably all zeros. If not, then good for you if you've got some numbers already in there, but this is just the dashboard. It, excuse me. It shows you kind of like the growth of your entire account. Um, but what we're going to do here to access our templates, I'm going to click on segment. Okay, and this is going to take me to all of the segmentation funnels that I have installed and running in my account. Now, to use a template, what you're going to do is you're going to create a segmentation funnel, and you can either create from scratch or you can do like I recommend and click the start from a template button. And then what this does is it takes you to our template market, so to speak. They're all free to use right now, so it's not it's not like you're having to come in here and buy it, but you can come in here and choose from the funnel that you want to use. I would go ahead and instead of using this all, I would just click on funnel, and then this will sort out. This will get rid of like a survey or any of the survey type templates that we have in there. If you're interested in running a survey, we do have survey templates. I'm mostly focusing on segmentation funnel because that's what most people typically use Bucket for, is our segmentation capabilities. But if you want to use survey, you can just click on survey and you'll see that we have some different survey templates as well. But let's just uncheck that, and we're going to look at some of these segmentation funnels. So one thing, I'm going to pull up your questions real quick. All right. One thing I want to point out here is you'll see where like some of these will say product retail, multi-path funnel, B2B, services, health. What I want you to know is that just because it says like product retail or B2B or health, that doesn't mean it's only for those markets. That is just mainly for the images that are already installed inside the funnel itself. So really, any of these templates can be used um, with any type of business. And so, so you've got this classic segmentation funnel here, and you've got product retail. You could literally use either one of these for anything. Same with B2B, same with services, same with all of these. So if you found yourself confused on whether or not you should use one of these because it has this naming convention on it, don't worry about it. You can totally customize everything inside of it. What you're really looking for is this flow. And what I tell everyone before you even touch Bucket, like to create a segmentation funnel, what you really want to do is you want to know what your outcomes are. And what I mean by outcomes are the different buckets that you plan on putting people in and the different offers you plan on making to the people specific to their bucket, right? So if you've got, customer type A, type B, and type C, and you've got either 3 different products or 3 different spins on the same product that you want to sell to those people, what you want to be thinking about is what's going to happen at the end, right? What am I selling to each person that goes through here based on what they choose? And so that'll help you kind of really get things, and that'll help you choose which of these templates to use as well. But for the case of this webinar, we're going to go through the easiest one of all, the one that I use almost every time I start a new campaign. I don't go into these big, like more advanced offers. What I'll typically do is I will go straight into the classic segmentation funnel, because from here you can always add on to it. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually click on this flow just so you guys can see exactly what the opt-in simple segmentation funnel is. So basically it starts with a button, right? So like, let's say you have a landing page and you want people to click a button, then it pops up one question. Then based on what they choose, you send them to a lead capture page, and then you send them out to the specific external outcome that you have for whatever they chose in this question. Does that make sense to everybody? Good. Awesome. Cool. Great. So, okay, everyone's on the same page with me here. Sorry, I had to take a little sip there. All right, so basically, once they choose this question and you get them to fill in their lead information, you can send them to the external outcome based on what they chose. Or if all you want to do is capture their information, then you can send everyone to the same external outcome page if you want to. What we're going to do in this webinar, again, for the highest conversions, what I found is to send people to a specific outcome. All right, and I'll show you guys a couple of examples in here as we go through. So here is what I'm going to do. I'm going to close this, and you can do this on every one of these templates, by the way. So you see what I did is I clicked on flow, and it brings up this really cool flow chart so you can see how it actually looks, right? The same with this one. Like this one's a little more advanced, right? You've got, once they choose a question, they can go down a certain path based on what they chose, right? So all the questions in the entire quiz look like are based off of the quote unquote branching question here. Let's see, let's look at this one. The flow on this one is based on what they choose, they can either be qualified or disqualified from your offer, right? This one here, if they click on it, this one will take them through their segmentation questions. In fact, you know what? I take it back. This is the one we're gonna pull up here in a second, because this one has actually got all these things built in. This is, in my opinion, the higher converting for and easy for someone just kind of starting out. So we're actually going to go into this one. This one is called the customized outcome segmentation funnel. So as you can see, this one's got a welcome page. It's got the segmentation question. It's got a handful of questions after, and then you can see each. There's a lead capture page for each of the options over here. And if this is sounding like Greek to you right this second, I'll break it down here in a few minutes so you'll see exactly what I'm talking about. But as you can see, there's an external outcome for each one of these segmentation questions over here. And that in my opinion, and well, not really my opinion, in my experience, is the highest converting offer that you could put in front of somebody. Let's take a quick look at this one. This one's kind of like that the simple one we looked at earlier. It just has more questions. And let's take a look at this one. This one is okay. This one's exactly like the classic segmentation. We just threw a kind of like a little health spin on it. All right. So once you've come in here and you figure out which template you want to use, in this case, like I said before, we're going to be using this multiple step segmented funnel. And what you're going to do is you're going to click on use. And what that's going to do is this template has been loaded into our account. So it's real simple. And you can do it as many of these as you want to. What I always tell people to do too, again, this is a pro tip, folks. So write this down. Once you've done this, once you've added this funnel into your account, the very first thing before you start opening stuff up and playing with it, what I always highly recommend you do is come over here to configure. And you see where it says segmentation funnel name? I highly recommend you come over here and rename that ASAP. So I'm going to call this test segmentation funnel 4518. And so what will happen here, let me save this. I'm going to show you why you want to do this. Why is this so importante? I'm going to hit save changes. And then what I'm going to show you here, I'm going to back out of the funnel itself. And I'm going to show you what I did. So you can see now I've got test segmentation funnel 4-5. Imagine if you had a ton of different, like basically just the word template, listed throughout your thing, and you didn't have any way of knowing which one was the one you wanted to work on. That's where you start running into issues, right? So I'm going to go back into here. I'm going to click edit. So once again, once you load that template in, jump over to configure, rename, hit save, and now you can start having fun with your template. All right, so what I'm doing now is I'm back in the build screen, okay? So what I'm looking for at this point is I want to go in and customize this thing so it doesn't look like, I just pulled it off of bucket.io's template market, right? I mean, that's not going to help you discover the biggest solution to your biggest performance challenge as a CEO, right? So what we're looking at here, I'm going to kind of walk you through now how to customize and use these things. But before I do, let me just kind of point out the obvious things. So this is kind of, think of these as like a checklist of things to remember to do as you're walking through this. You might want to jot this stuff down too. Number one, you want to make sure you edit out all the brackets. Everything that we fill in on these landing pages that you can go in and customize. You can customize everything, but if you just want to whip something up super fast, all you really have to do is edit the stuff that's inside these brackets. I'll show you what I'm talking about. See here where it says, discover the solution to your biggest performance challenge. So what you're going to want to do is come over here, and in between this little HTML code, you're going to want to highlight everything that's in there, in those brackets. And this is my awesome funnel, right? And so all you had to do is edit the copy in between that, in between those brackets. You do need to get rid of the brackets too because they're not hidden. As you can see, they actually show up. So you want to also edit the brackets out as well. I put cool subheads here. And then you just go through, edit your copy. This is a landing page. So this is I saw somebody ask something about how is this different from ClickFunnels. So this is in a way, like, how ClickFunnels has a landing page for you to use, right? That you're gonna actually send traffic to. This is called a welcome page and it operates exactly the same. So what they'll do, if you wanted to go advertise this funnel as it is now, you would generate the link at the end, and I'll show you guys how to do that. But what they're going to see, the first thing that someone's going to see when they click a link to your funnel is this landing page here. And as you can see, you're going to go in and edit all the copy in here so that you're making the pitch and the presentation to get people to go into your funnel. It'll be your offer that you're going to be adding into this copy throughout the page, including the button text and anything else you want to add here. Now, I'm going to give you another little tip in a second, but one thing I want to point out is that there's a button here that says image and video. Highly, highly, highly recommend you use this. In fact, I recommend video pretty much for every funnel. If you can do it, if you've got the presence and you've got the ability to create a video, I have found that nothing performs better than a fantastic video that tells people what they're going to get when they go through your, when they answer your questions, right? Do you have to? No, but every test I've ever done, when you put a video in, it always performs. And I'll show you guys some numbers here in a second, just so you can see that I'm not just, talking. But if you don't have a video, you can always use an image. You can get away with not using anything if you want, but I recommend using multimedia and definitely video if you can. And to add video, all you've got to do is just paste the embed code from Wistia, Facebook, YouTube, whatever you're hosting your video. All you got to do is just grab the embed code that you would use to share and just paste that embed code here. Not the share link, the little, like let's say you're using YouTube, you wouldn't use like the little share link. You would actually click on embed code and then paste that stuff in. I'll show you one here in a second that's got one. So that's one of the big steps though, is going through and going into each of these questions. And again, another thing too, and this is something that I also highly recommend, is that if you're using segmentation funnels, if you're new at segmentation funnels and you're not real sure what to ask or like how to ask it, what is a way to ask something to somebody that will make them go through the whole thing, use the stuff that we've already got here. These questions were, these weren't just like willy-nilly made up. Like these are questions that when asked and answered correctly will take these people to the right spots. It'll get them to answer in ways that will help you guide them to the right spot, but also they'll trigger people to answer correctly and in the best fashion. So as you can see here, this first question, it says, when it comes to, and then you've got this this copy in between here, what is your biggest challenge right now? So you would just kind of replace what does it say? Reaching your peak performance as an executive. You would just come over here. Just somebody in here. What is a challenge your customers have? And I'll just grab something from the audience. Pain management. Okay. So when it comes to managing your pain, again, there's probably a much better way to ask that question. But when it comes to managing your pain, what is your biggest challenge right now, right? And then here, as you can see, you've got these options down here that are also in brackets, so you need to edit those, right? You can put, I don't know, give me like 2 or 3 issues that are problems that people might be having in pain management, and I'll just throw that stuff in. So I'm not just like trying to make it up off the cuff. So like here's what I mean, Elizabeth. Elizabeth said pain management. All right, here we go. No longer able to type. I like it. Oh, I'm typing that in the wrong spot. Just going to do this. No longer able to type. Unable to drive. And unable to pick up children. Oh, I like that one. So as you can see here, as you guys can see, that was super easy, right? I didn't have to dream up some question. It's already kind of laid out for me, and all I got to do is just fill in the stuff that I already know, right? And so now I'm thinking in my mind, okay, these are going to be the outcomes, right? So based on what someone chose here, I'm going to take them to an offer that says, hey, I'm going to show you exactly how to address the pain if you're no longer able to type, or if you're unable to drive, or if you're unable to pick up your children, right? And so and then from there, I'll give them an offer that solves their exact problem, whatever that issue is. And so what I'm going to do here is I'm going to click on save. And so now my question is, I'm ready to go to question number 2. And what you can do here is, if this makes sense, if this question makes sense to leave in your funnel, then leave it. All you got to do is just edit out the brackets. So if you want to know what your prospect's age is, just come in here, bing, take that out and hit save. If you want to know if they're a man or a woman, or if they're a parent or not a parent, any question that you want to ask there, basically what you're looking for is just, again, what's going to help you as a professional sell to this person, either right directly after they complete this funnel or later on down the line through email, right? So you want to ask like these demographic questions. You can see this one here. How long have you been working in your role as an executive? That obviously doesn't make sense, so you would edit this entire question out. What's a good, just since we've already got her working in here, Elizabeth, what's another good demographic question? Is it, are you a man or a woman? Are there different, is that a question that you would want to know from your prospects? Age is important. So let's just say this. Let's say age is the only real other question that Elizabeth needs. And we've got these other 2 questions in here. What you can do is come over here. You see this trash can? You can click on that and delete the question. And then if you're thinking, oh man, I really wish I had added the question in, all you've got to do is just drag either one of these option types over here, like a radio button, or you can, I think it's this one right here. You click this clone question, and you can add the question, just add another question and just go in and edit it. So as you guys can see, it's super simple to customize it. And it's so much easier to customize something that's already there than sitting there thinking, oh man, how many questions should this thing have? It's easier to ask the questions that you wanted to ask and then be like, oh, you know what? I think that's good. I'll just delete the rest of these out, right? So that's another reason I always tell people, hey, start with a template. And then once you run some people through it and you start figuring out, oh man, this isn't really working, or that's working great, you can either add or remove questions in later funnels. Okay. I'm going to just go ahead and delete this one. We're just going to go with, did I really delete out the age one? Of course I did. Well, anyways, here, let's just do, what is your age range? And I'm just gonna do, golly. So as you guys can see, I deleted the wrong one, and now I look like the guy who deleted the wrong one. What I would probably do at this point is just rewrite the question out. It's super simple. How old are you? Let me do this. I'm gonna delete all these. I'm just gonna do the one question for now. But as just the big thing here is that you guys can see that adding questions in and editing them is super simple. I kind of tend to get a little crazy, and so that's why we are at this point. All right, I'm going to delete this one as well. And so what I want to do here real quick, so we've got our main question. This is when it comes to managing your pain, what is your biggest challenge right now? So what you would want to do here is you want to have an outcome for each of these options. So we've got no longer able to type, unable to drive, unable to pick up children. So what I would do in a situation like this, where I want the highest number of conversions possible, I'm going to make an outcome for each of these pain points. So I'm going to have a no longer able to type. Actually, I would just probably call it can't type, just because I like things super simple. And then what you would do here is you would just link to whatever sales pitch or offer that you have for people who are no longer able to type, right? So whatever pain management program you have for people who can't type, you would want to send them to that sales page. And so you just put the URL to that sales page here. If you don't have one, you could click on this outcome page, and then you could go into kind of like how we built that. Here, I'll just click on it real quick so you can see. Remember how we built that landing page at the beginning, the welcome page? We just came in and edited all this stuff out. So you could actually build kind of like a sales page here, where you could say, I have the answer to your inability to type problem. This is such bad copy. But as you can see, you would definitely put something a little more persuasive than that. But you get what I'm saying. So what you're doing here, what you could do is build out your sales page, probably put a video in here. Again, you'll hear me in the future, and of course the rest of today, talk big time about video. I highly recommend it because what it looks like, here's the thing about video, especially when you're using segmentation funnels. If you answer the question that the problem that they told you they had earlier in this funnel, and you've got an entire video about it, then it means you totally have put a lot of thought into it, right? That you know what you're talking about. You're demonstrating your ability to solve their problem. And I found every single time that using that video, especially on the welcome page, the landing page, and then these outcome pages, that's where the magic starts happening, right? You can do text. I promise you can get away with it for sure. But I've yet to see a time where video didn't lift the conversions. So we're talking high converting funnels here. That's my tip of the day. So you remember, we got can't type. What was the other one? Can't drive. I'm going to show you guys why we're doing this like this. Can't drive. I'm going to hit save on that. And then what was the last one? Can't pick up children. I'll just call that kids. All right. So now we've got these outcome pages. And as you saw with the can't type one, each one's going to be specific to answering the problem that the person told you that they had. This is going to be their bucket. The problem and the solution are in each other's are in the bucket. Okay. Now I'm going to kind of hit cancel on this so you guys can see. What the template has already done is it matches the answers to the outcome pages. And the way you want to test that is you come over here and you see how I'm mousing over, I'm not clicking, I'm mousing over the question itself. And you see how this funnel thing is highlighted orange. I'm going to click on that. And you see where it says no longer able to type. You see how that matches up to can't type? I'm just going to delete everything. It's already done for you in the template, but all you got to do is just drag that over. Unable to drive goes to can't drive. Unable to pick up children goes to kids. I'm going to hit save. So now when someone goes in and they answer this question, the outcome is going to go to the right place. Now, we're going to go ahead and up the conversion, your ability to convert even higher with the lead capture page. All right, I think I saw somebody ask, like, how do you get the name and emails? So using this template, notice there's also 3 different lead capture pages. One says outcome A, outcome B, outcome C. So what we're going to do is we're going to click on this so you can see this one goes to the can't type. And so you've got, just kind of like we saw before with all the other, the outcome pages, the welcome pages. Anytime you want to edit this, all you got to do is just jump inside where the brackets are and edit that. And so what you're doing is coming in here and you're going to edit everything that's in those brackets, including the brackets themselves. And you're going to say something to the effect of, we'll just use the same kind of copy. Discover the pain relief for your typing. Again, awful copy. Don't take my copywriting course that I don't have. Um, what I'm showing you here, though, is that this is where what you're looking at here is this is the opt-in. So instead of sending somebody to this generic pain management offer that you want to collect email addresses for, what you're able to do is you're able to ask them specifically, hey, which of these problems do you have most? And then once they tell you, say, oh, dude, listen, I've got the exact thing for you for your specific problem. In fact, I'm going to give you something for free just for giving me your name and email. And then once they give, and it's about their specific issue, right? So you're much more likely to get them to cough up that name and email address because your solution to their problem is super specific, right? And then once they've filled that out, then you take them to this outcome page that goes on to not only deliver the goods, like the free thing that you told them they were going to get, but then you start the process of actually solving the problem and offering them your solution that obviously costs money or gets them to become a customer, and they're much further down the buying cycle because you've already demonstrated your ability to not just know what the problem is, but specifically be able to solve their exact problem, not other people who might maybe kind of sort of have a problem, but their exact one. Is this making sense to everybody so far on why these steps would be helpful in increasing your conversions? Awesome. Cool. So Crystal asked, do they go to the capture page, then the outcome page? Yes. So what you're doing, what I'm showing you is your ability to customize both the landing page and the outcome page, because your opt-ins are going to increase if you're giving them a very specific, if you're solving their specific problem that they just told you that they had at the opt-in screen. And then once they fill that out, you take them to the outcome page where you can, deliver whatever you promised they were going to get, and then start selling them on your offer, um, based on what they told you their issue was. Oh, I see. Yeah, the reason. Okay, yeah, and Crystal made a good point. She said, I'm going with she on this. If you're a guy, I apologize. Um, when Crystal said when I showed the outcome page first, I got confused. So the reason I always start with the outcome page, because you really can't do anything else without the outcome pages. In fact, what I know we kind of did it a little backwards on this demo, but what I would highly recommend to everyone on this call and anyone using Bucket is you always want to go straight to the outcomes. Come up with your outcomes first, like the can't drive, can't type, can't pick up kids, right? You want to start there so that when you go to your main question where you're doing the segmentation, you already have the outcomes built in. So all you've got to do is plug in the actual, like the written response, right? Give them the options. Pick an option, but you've already got that laid out in your outcomes, and then from there you can go in and do your opt-in screens like I showed you. Uh, yes, I've had a couple of people asking if you can have more than just email address. You can. You can add name. All you got to do is just click on each of these fields. You can do phone, and then you could do an other, right? And you just come in here and label whatever you want that to be. You'll just basically by labeling, you just say let's say how many years have you been hurting, right? Something to that effect. And so they would see that when they come down here. You would probably already ask this as an option. I'm just saying, like, you could ask anything in that question. So you can have these 4 fields. One thing I want to point out to you, and this is just an issue, and this is something that you want to know. The only thing that's absolutely required is email. So they don't, Bucket right now doesn't force them to enter name or phone or this other just because you have them highlighted. So you will still need to um, basically say, hey, make sure you fill out all of these forms or all these fields if you have more than just your name and email. Just something to point out to you guys. I'm going to hit this Save Changes page, and that's it. So once you've kind of gone through and edited it out, again, I'm going to jump back over to this slide real quick. Once you've gone through, and you want to probably do this a couple times, and make sure you've got everything edited out of the brackets, edit the names of your outcomes, got your questions, how you like them. All you've got to do from that point on, once you've got this thing looking, I'm going to jump into a couple other things real quick. I'm not going to go super deep into like design and all that stuff, but I do want you to know that once you come in here, you want to come in into the design, obviously get rid of the logo, and you do all that stuff in here. So you can put your own logo in. You just, hit the little trash can. That'll get rid of this ABC. Hit the Save Changes. If you want to use a different background, you'll just come over here and do background image. Just hit the little trash can on that. Put your background in. This is where you'll do all of that. And we've got some really great tutorials inside of help. Here, let me just jump back over there real quick because it opens up in a new tab. So anything like any of the stuff that you need help on, I would highly recommend you just come over here to like the how-to videos or the getting started, or just just kind of type in logo, like how do I add a logo, and you've got how to customize header for a segmentation funnel. We've got so much material in here. Anything you need help on, you can probably find it, and if not, you can always hit us up on the support buttons and get help there. This create a ticket link is what I was talking about by the support button. And I'll give you guys some contact info here towards the end of this call. So let me jump back over here. So that's how you would go in and edit all that stuff out. So again, once you're done editing everything out in the brackets, you've got your stuff all set up. From there, you don't have to even use the templates anymore. You do it once, and then you can clone your funnel from that point on. Once you get it branded, looking exactly the way you want it to, you've got all the stuff that works the way you want it to. Maybe you want to add a couple questions. Maybe you've got like some different things, maybe some different offers. You could just clone a funnel, and I'll show you how to do that real quick. Actually, that's a good idea. So once you've got this thing looking exactly the way you want it to, you just come over here. Anytime you want to build a new one, like you'll notice in here, I've got like a bunch of these that kind of look the same. That's because I've got these funnels that are up and running, and instead of going and creating a new one from the template from scratch, I just come over here, hit these three dots up here, hit the clone, and boom. All I got to do is hit edit, and I can start just going in and making changes. Everything else is already set up for me. Like you can see here, can't type, can't drive, kids, all that stuff is already in place. All I got to do is maybe add a question or maybe test out a different video for a different group of people, those kind of things. Does that make sense to everybody? Good. Awesome. All right. Let's see. Oh yeah, now I promised you guys I would show you how to optimize these things. And the way you do that, obviously, is through data. And the way that you get data on your funnel is you come over to the analytics portion, and I'll walk you through a couple of these. I'll walk you through a couple of these right now. I'm going to pick one that did really bad first. So here's one. Okay, here's one. Let's see if that's. Yeah, here's one. This one only had 80. You don't want 80% completions. You want like really close to 100. I think there's like a magic number out there. It's like 97, I think is the number, 97 to 99. You don't want people dropping off on their way through your funnel. So let me show you one that that had a really bad opt-in rate, which 10% is not good, and completions, which 80%, which is also not good. I think was that the worst one? No, this one's pretty awful too. In fact, let's look at this one. It's got more than just one opt-in. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to hit analytics on this. All right, I'm going to show you a bad one and I'm going to show you a better one. Okay, so you can see how we took these numbers and we're just made a decision. Hey, we need to change things up a bit. So you can see this one. Okay, so first of all, what I did is I clicked on analytics for the funnel that I wanted to look at. Right, that's how we got here. And then I'm looking at this first thing. This is the welcome page. This eyeball is the number of people who actually saw this page. So we saw 108 people saw the welcome page, right? But only 32 of those people actually clicked in and started the quiz itself, like actually answering the questions. And then, as you can see here, only 20% of the people that saw this first question bounced. They got out of there. Then from there, it was 88%. Still, obviously nothing to write home about. And then this last question, it starts getting a little bit better. So by the time they make it to the question 3 and 4, okay, these are the people that are going to make it all the way to the end. But as you can see, if 20% of the people aren't even making it past question number 1, I'm paying for these people. That you can see you're losing traffic, right? I mean, you're paying for people that they're not even getting to this opt-in screen. And to add insult to injury, the people once they get to the opt-in screen, only 13.6% are actually filling out the form. So you have to look at this thing. You see these numbers happening, and you're like, okay, I can't afford to run this campaign. I've got to make some changes. And that's what we did, right? So I looked at these numbers, and we said, okay, we need that to perform better. And so that's kind of where I'll tell you right now. Let me actually get back to it. Which one was it? Oh, it was this one. So I'm going to click edit on this real quick, just so you guys can see. I think this one, yeah, this one was just an image. It was just real kind of bland. Again, you guys, I've already demonstrated my copy skills. So you can see this one it just was real bare. And so not a lot of people were going into it. One of the questions that was getting people to fall out was that first question. Let me just discard these. And you can see we had this 5 to 10, under 5, and already retired. Just people weren't answering that question. And so what we had to figure out was, why were they not answering that question, and why were so few people clicking through? Well, the change that we ended up making, and again, I told you this earlier, is we add videos. And so you've got this same thing here. Let's jump into this one. This is the same exact funnel, only optimized. And so you can see now you've got about a little over 50% of the people clicking through instead of under 30. You've got 95% answering that same first question, right? I mean, the question didn't change. I'll show you what we did different here in a second. You've got 96% going through the second question, 96 going through the third, and more people just making their way through the quiz to the opt-in screen. And then you can see there's a significant 300% increase in conversions at the end. And the reason why is because we figured, I mean, you just look at the numbers, you figure out, okay, if people aren't answering that question, there must be a reason why. And I'll show you what we did different, just so you guys can get an idea of what types of changes people will typically make to a funnel like this. So I'm going to hit this edit existing. So let's jump over to this welcome page. What do you guys think we added here? Literally the only thing we added, the copy all stayed the same, but what we did was we added a video to it, right? Like I told you guys before, add that video and magic happens. So we added the video. From that point, we doubled the number of people that were actually going into the quiz, right? Hit discard. But how are we able to get more people? Well, we added 10 plus years. So what we figured out was we just weren't asking enough questions. So we added one more option. Or not that we weren't asking a question, we just didn't have enough options. So we added another option in, and then once we did that, as you could see, the number shot way up. Added a few more questions in, made some different copy changes, made some copy changes on the actual lead capture page. In fact, this one isn't even the best converting. We didn't actually, on this one, didn't do the specific landing pages or opt-in pages. There's a different one that we have that actually, I think is converting more at 50%. But discard changes on that. But as you can see, once you see the numbers coming in off of the first one that you put together, then you start coming up with ideas and changes to make your funnel convert even better. Is this making sense to everybody, or am I like talking pure Chinese here, or whatever other language you might not know? Because some of you might know Chinese perfectly. Awesome, cool. So Roxanne asked, there was literally just very, very light content on that page. I do have one that's not in this campaign or this account where it's got a lot more content and it does actually perform a lot better. So just because you put a video on, a lot of times, I'm not saying that's the magic, bullet, but on that specific one, the only change we made was literally just have the headline, a subhead, and a video. And as you can see, the numbers were dramatically different. So again, I'm not saying, and you don't have to do it from the bat. You probably want to do exactly what I did, right? Go throw something up, go put an image on it, go put something real fast. But I'm telling you, just as a pro tip, be thinking about using video in your funnels. It really does. It works a lot of the times. So that we've pretty much done is I've shown you how to go build a segmentation funnel using the template, using some features. How can you go and look at it once you start driving some traffic to it, and gauging how to gauge the performance of the first one and the second one, how to kind of be thinking about how to optimize those things. And so what I'd like to do now is just kind of tell you too, we've covered this stuff in depth a lot of times. So if there's something you have a question on, like, maybe like some other conversion kind of ideas, I think you could come in here and hit conversion. Yeah, and then you could get all kinds of cool ideas for converting. And we've got video, tons and tons and tons of video. And we're always coming up with new stuff to put back in here. But anything that you need help on, I highly recommend jumping over and hitting the knowledge base. Again, we spend a lot of time. Anytime we think of something, we're like, oh, you know what? This would be great. Let's go throw that in the knowledge base. And we do that regularly, like weekly. If you do need help, like let's just say you just can't figure out how to make something work, I highly recommend you jump over and first of all, try to find it. But if you can't and you need your question answered ASAP, hit this create a ticket. We've got these guys who've been answering your questions throughout this webinar. Those are the guys that are going to be back there really helping you. They've got the answers, and they're super fast. I think the turnaround, I'd say a couple hours probably. It's not like live chat, so you'll want to create the ticket, and then, like I said, once you get it, they're super on top of it, and they will get back to you ASAP. And then finally, you can always email us at support@bucket.io. Like if you just flat out can't get into Bucket, then definitely shoot us an email at support@bucket.io. But there's also one other thing you can do today, and today only, folks. I promised this earlier, and I'm going to stand by it. If you would like a call with someone like myself who will walk you through on a Zoom chat which means like you'll actually see the person on their computer. We'll be able to do like screen shares and walk you through your account and show you what to click on and all those cool things. You can get a free one-on-one call, and it's ideal for you if you've activated bucket.io, which I think all of you have, and if you've got a specific question that you're blocked. If you're blocked on something and you want someone who's got the experience to walk you through it, it's totally free. And you just want someone to look over your shoulder and say, yeah, that looks great, or maybe change this and that. um, or if you just flat out don't know what you don't know, and you just don't want to you don't want to find yourself in that position where you've got the software that could really help you out if only you had it actually working. You don't want to have that software just sitting back there, not working for you, right? And so our goal is to get it to where it's working on its own. You don't even have to think about it. Just come check the reports. And that's the point we want you guys at. And so that's what these calls are meant for, is to get you done, get your funnel done and up and running. So it's 15 minutes. It's totally focused on you. It's not 5 other people that you're sitting there listening to their issues. It's your issue, the specialist working through it. There's no problem too large. I haven't been hit with one too big yet. I think I'm pretty close to 100% in solving the issue on the call. So if you think you can stump the specialist, more power to you. But the main goal of those is to get you on track, get you moving on, making, just the peace of mind that Bucket is running and working for you, and you can run as much traffic to it as you want. So I'm not going to read all these awesome testimonials out loud, but they're there. People love these calls. They work. So I highly recommend you get it when I put this link in here. Do you guys want me to put the link in the chat? Yes? Yes, please? All right, fine. Since you said please, I will do it. Let me go here and grab a pretty please? You got it. Let me see. I'm just going to grab the link out of here. There we go. I'm just going to grab this. Grab the link. All right, so I'm going to put this link in here. Tell me if you guys can see this link, please. You guys, did you guys get that link? Awesome. Cool. Yeah, so just whenever you get a chance, just go through. You'll have one question and your email, and then you'll get the options for the schedule. And then just pick whatever the best time. We don't have, there's not like a ton of slots, but jump in there, find a slot that works good for you, and one of the specialists, like I said, what'll happen is what we'll typically do is once we get your appointment, we'll let you know, hey, we got the appointment. We'll remind you, and then about 10, 15 minutes before the call, we'll shoot you a link to the Zoom chat, and then we'll just walk you through it. But other than that, that is it. I'm just kind of going through here and seeing if anything didn't get answered. But like I said, guys, you are in the hands of some real pros. And I can tell that these awesome experts were definitely able to answer your questions. So I'm going to let that go because that way you guys can get out of here. I know it's getting kind of late. But if you have any other questions, if you want to throw it in, I'll do my best to answer it right now. Does anybody have anything? You're welcome, Luann. Thank you for getting on. Link is still opening. No, thank you guys for getting on here. I appreciate it. Has anybody else had any issues clicking on that link, or does it work? Thanks, Roxanne. I appreciate you for saying that. All right, cool, awesome. You got it to work. Oh, well, all right, Darren. Well, yeah, you definitely, go have your breakfast, bud. Sorry. Hope you had hope I was a good morning wake up for you there. Awesome, guys. Well, I appreciate everyone for getting on. Thank you for testing out and using Bucket. We're so excited to have you. We'll be even more excited when we're generating them leads and you guys are having fun with it. And thank you for pointing out the typo on the slide. If there's only one, I'll be totally surprised, CB. All right, guys. Thank you so much. Thanks for joining us, and we'll talk to you soon. If you need anything, just let us know. All right. All right.